It was late October, already getting dark by 5 p.m. I stayed after school because I failed a physics test and needed to redo a lab report. My teacher, Mrs. Hargrove, told me I could work in the science wing until the janitor locked up around 6:30. The building always felt different after hours. Too quiet. Every small noise echoed like someone was walking right behind you. Around 5:45, I packed up my notebook and headed toward the main hallway. Most lights were off except emergency strips along the floor. That's when I heard a locker slam somewhere far down the corridor. At first I thought maybe another student stayed late too. It wasn't impossible. "Hello," I called out, half joking. No answer. I kept walking. My footsteps sounded way too loud. Then I heard it again. Not a slam this time. More like metal scraping slowly, like someone dragging something across lockers. I told myself it was probably the janitor moving a cart. But the sound was coming from the Olby hallway. That hallway had been closed since the previous year after water damage. Students weren't allowed there. Teachers barely went there either. I don't know why I walked toward it. Maybe curiosity. Maybe because I was young and stupid and thought real danger only happened in movies. The closer I got, the colder it felt. Not like normal building AC cold, like stepping into a freezer. My breath actually fogged a little. The scraping sound stopped. Then I heard whispering. Not clear words, just voices. More than one, like people talking through walls. I should have left. I know that now. I stepped into the B hallway entrance. Half the lights were broken. Lockers were dented and rusted near the bottom from the old flooding. The smell hit me first. Wet carpet and something sour, like spoiled milk. "Hello," I said again, softer this time. That's when I saw locker B214 slightly open, just an inch, but it was shaking, like someone was pushing from inside, then stopping, then pushing again. My brain tried to make sense of it. Maybe trapped air, maybe building pressure, maybe anything normal. Then the locker door bent outward, not opened, bent. I heard a wet breathing sound from inside, like someone breathing through liquid. I ran. I didn't even think. I just ran back toward the main hallway. But halfway there, every fire alarm in the school went off at once. Loud, screaming, red lights flashing everywhere. I covered my ears and kept running toward the exit doors. That's when I slipped. The floor was wet, but when I looked down, it wasn't water. It was dark, thick, and it smelled like rust. Footsteps started behind me, slow, dragging. Getting closer. I forced myself up and sprinted outside into the parking lot. The alarms were still going, but when I turned around to look at the building, every light was off. No alarms, no flashing, just silence, like nothing ever happened. I told myself I imagined it. Stress, exams, horror movies, anything, until Monday morning. When I got to school Monday, there were police cars outside. Yellow tape around the side entrance near the B hallway. Students were standing in groups whispering. Phones out. Teachers looked pale. My friend Tyler ran up to me and said, "Did you hear? Someone broke into the school Friday night." My stomach dropped. Apparently, a homeless man had been living inside the closed B hallway storage rooms for weeks. The janitor found him Friday morning, dead, stuffed inside locker B214. They said he must have crawled in and gotten stuck, but that made no sense. The locker was bent outward, like something tried to get out. The official story said he died from exposure and infection from old flood mold. Case closed. I tried to forget it. I really did. But things didn't stop. 2 weeks later, I stayed late again, but this time for basketball practice. When I went to the locker room showers after, I noticed one of the mirrors had words written on it in fog. Still cold. I thought someone was messing with me. I wiped it away, finished showering fast. When I came back out, the mirror was fogged again. Same words. Still cold. I left without even drying my hair. After that, I started hearing breathing sounds in empty classrooms. Lockers near me would rattle slightly. Once during an exam, I smelled that same sour, wet smell. The worst part happened during winter finals week. I was alone in the library study room around 7 p.m. Snow outside, pitch dark. The librarian had stepped out to help someone print documents. I heard dragging sounds outside the glass study room walls. Slow, wet, heavy. Then a handprint appeared on the glass beside me. From the outside, but there was no one there. Just a sliding mark, like someone's hand slowly moving downward. Then I heard breathing right next to my ear. Not loud, not aggressive, just tired, cold. I froze. Couldn't even scream. Then a whisper right behind me. Too cold. I ran out of the library, knocked over chairs, didn't stop until I reached the front office where staff were still working. After that, my parents transferred me to another school within a month. I never went back. Last year, I searched West Ridge High online out of curiosity. Found an old local news article I'd never seen before, from a year before I was a student. A maintenance worker went missing during the B hallway flood repairs. They never found his body. The article mentioned he was last seen trying to open stuck lockers to drain trapped water, including locker B 214. I don't go near old schools anymore. I don't like narrow hallways. And I can't stand the smell of wet carpet. Because sometimes late at night when my apartment gets too cold, I still hear breathing right behind me. It started during my junior year. I had late detention because I got caught skipping chemistry with my friend Marcus. Detention was held in room 214 at the far end of the second floor. Most students avoided that wing after school because the lights flickered and half the classrooms were locked for renovation, though nobody ever worked there. Our supervisor that day was Ms. Carter, the history teacher. She sat grading papers while 6 of us worked silently. By 5:30 p.m., the sky outside turned dark blue and rain started hitting the windows. One by one, students got picked up by parents. Eventually, it was just me, Marcus, and a quiet girl named Elena. At 6 p.m., Ms. Carter told us we could leave. Marcus left first because his brother was waiting. Elena rushed out right after him. I stayed a few minutes to finish copying notes because I did not want another detention. When I finally packed up and stepped into the hallway, something fell off. The hallway lights were dimmer than usual, and I could hear a locker door slamming somewhere far away. I assumed a janitor was still working. As I walked toward the stairs, I noticed locker 287 slightly open. That locker belonged to a student named Ryan Holt. He had transferred out months ago after rumors spread about him having some kind of breakdown. People said he claimed someone was following him in school corridors. I told myself it was just air pressure or something. Still, I walked slower. Then I heard whispering. Not normal whispering. It sounded like someone trying to talk while choking. I froze. The sound was coming from inside locker 287. I actually laughed nervously and said, "Very funny, whoever's inside." No answer. Just that wet whisper sound again. I stepped closer and slowly pulled the locker open. It was empty, but inside, scratched deep into the metal, were words I swear were not there before. "Stay after the bell." I slammed the locker shut and backed away. I told myself it was a prank. Seniors messing around. Still, my chest felt tight. I rushed toward the stairs, but when I reached them, the lights above flickered and went out for about 3 seconds. In those 3 seconds, I heard footsteps running toward me. Fast, like someone sprinting down the hallway. The lights came back on. Nobody was there. I ran downstairs and left the building in a heavy rain. I did not even wait for my ride. I just walked home, soaked, shaking, telling myself I was imagining things. The next morning, I told Marcus everything. He laughed at first, but when I mentioned Ryan Holt, his face changed. He told me Ryan did not transfer. He disappeared. Police searched for weeks but found nothing. His locker was cleared out by school staff. Marcus swore the locker should have been empty for months. That day during lunch, I walked past locker 287 again. It was closed, but something was dripping from the bottom. Dark brown. I told myself it was rust water. I walked away fast. That night I got a message from an unknown number. It only said, You left too early. That is when I realized this was not over. I did not sleep that night. Every time my phone screen lit up, my heart jumped. I blocked the number, but deep down I knew it would not matter. The next day at school, I avoided the second floor completely. Marcus thought I was overreacting. He kept saying someone was messing with me. Maybe he was right, but my gut kept telling me something was seriously wrong. Last period ended, and I rushed toward the exit with everyone else. I was almost outside when the vice principal stopped me and said I had another detention scheduled. I tried arguing, but he showed me the record on his tablet. My name, today's date, room 214, 4 p.m. I never signed up for that detention. I wanted to leave anyway, but fear of suspension made me stay. At 4 p.m., I walked into room 214. No supervisor, just silence. The room smelled like something rotten mixed with cleaning chemicals. I sat near the door ready to leave if anything felt wrong. At exactly 4:07 p.m., the classroom lights shut off. My phone flashlight barely lit the room. Then I heard that same choking whisper, but this time it was right behind me. I spun around. No one. Then every locker in the hallway outside slammed at once. The sound echoed like gunshots. I ran into the hallway. Lights flickered on and off. Lockers were slowly opening and closing on their own. Then I saw it. At the far end of the hallway, standing near locker 287, was a tall shape. Not fully solid, like smoke shaped like a person. It tilted its head sideways like it was studying me. My legs would not move. Then it started walking toward me. Not normal walking. Jerky. Wrong. Like frames missing for video. I finally broke free and ran toward the stairs. As I ran, I heard footsteps matching mine perfectly right behind me. I did not look back. I burst outside and kept running across the football field until I reached the road. When I finally looked back, the school windows were dark, except one. Second floor, right where locker 287 was. The next day, police came to school. Word spread fast. A janitor found something behind the lockers in that hallway. Old maintenance space nobody checked for years. They found bones. Student bones. DNA later matched Ryan Holt. Police said it looked like he had been trapped back there somehow. Nobody could explain the messages on my phone. Police traced the number. It was disconnected years ago. I transferred schools 2 weeks later. Sometimes I still get unknown messages. Last one came 3 months ago. It said, "Detention is not over." I never go near empty schools anymore. And if I ever hear lockers slamming when no one is around, I leave immediately. Because I know something at Westbridge High is still waiting for someone to stay after the bell.